How's it, Bills fans? Lance Nelson here, president of Built In Buffalo. Welcome into a new episode of the Triple Coverage Podcast. Here to my left, Scott Casson. To my right, Benjamin Shoop. CJ Gardner Johnson just signed moments before we go live here. What's up, Shoop?
Nothing much. Yeah. Nice little way to start out the show as we get a nice little signing here to talk about. But yeah, excited to get into all the moves and not a ton to talk about when it comes to specifically the Bills, but some interesting moves and some that have definitely been back and forth reactions from the fans with all of them. So it's going to be fun to see what you guys have to say in the comments tonight. So let us know what you guys do think of all of them. But excited to talk about it.
What do you mean there's not much to talk about? The Sienna Saints are going dancing for the first time since 2010. Shout out Sienna for winning the MAC, the last ever MAC tournament. Next year they're getting a new name, and there won't be any more confusion from the simpletons. You can't figure out the difference between the MAC and the MAC. But yeah, excited to talk some free agency. The Bills made and the MEAC, not to be confused with the MEAC. Good call. Yeah, the Bills made a few moves. Nothing as big as DJ Moore, but a couple solid additions who we're gonna probably plug and play and start. So let's get it rolling. And brought some old friends back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will preface the show because I know the comments could take a turn at times, but it's March 12th. So don't expect a complete roster here on March 12th. We still got the draft.
CB Dee's most recent tweet.
Saw that. Getting the bling out there. It's March 12th. So it's not going to be a complete roster yet. I understand disappointment from some folks for certain players not being added here, but I'm going to reserve my anger or disappointment for what the roster looks like on September 1st. And we'll hope that this regime will escape the grasp of the Sean McDermott era and be able to have wild success, not being held back by the former coach now. We saw DJ Moore come in, obviously a guy that Bobby Babich Joe Brady probably clamoring for, having worked with DJ previously. And now we get some free agency going. Bradley Chubb, Dee Alford, Kyle Allen, the first free agent signed. Where do you want to start, Scott? Do you want to start with one of those gentlemen or say anything more about your CD Deuce guy?
Yeah, let's start with the most recent guy, CJ Gardner Johnson, or CD Deuce as they call him on the streets, brought in to play safety, and he's had some character concerns in the past, been cut from a couple teams for just kind of causing issues, most recently the Texans last season. But when he's on his best behavior, he's a great player. Contract deal up to $6 million. I would guess that it's going to come in somewhere between 2 and 4. He can get some incentives beyond that, but the agents just want to report whatever the highest number is. But I think he'll be a pretty good fit next to Cole Bishop. He pretty good in the pass, can come down and defend the run as well. So I'm excited about it, and it's affordable, which is something that Brandon Beane loves.
Your guy Jaquan Brisker just getting signed here.
Pittsburgh,
yeah.
Domino effect.
Bears safety. Now that Bears safety's off the market here.
Yeah, now that the big splash, CD Deuce is gone. They're all gonna start signing.
Yeah. It's weird. It's funny how the one signing that it feels like most people are fine with is this one, and this is out of all of the moves, the one that besides one other one that we'll get to, that I like the least that they've made so far. Can he definitely have some left in the tank? Yeah, he's not, he's not 35 or anything, but he is in that part of his career where you have started to see a slight decline. As Scott mentioned, he had a pretty rough first half of the year last year, and then towards the second half with the new team, with the Bears, kind of played a little bit better, and which proved that he still has some left. So, the other good thing I do like, I will say, is he's very versatile. You can play him in the box, you can play him in the slot, you can play him as so he's a guy that another piece where it's where is he going to line up? You can move him around, you can move. You can even move Alford around, which we'll get to as well. But
we're going to be a master of disguise.
They're getting these guys that are
for the Turtle Club.
Versatile players. So that's the one thing I do like. But I up to, again, like Scott said, you got to be cautious and aware when you read that. So $6 million definitely would make me a little bit more annoyed. Where I'm looking, probably it will be around that $3 million range, which is better. So I can't hate it a lot, and it's not a big move. So I'm not gonna be up in arms about it.
I'm sorry, Rhode Island just hit from the logo. Down 8 meant nothing to hit the over.
Hit the over at a babe. Nice job.
And when I say the logo, I don't mean those logos that go like one step inside a half court, he pulls up with a hand in his face and hits it. Let's go.
It's amazing.
Back on with the Borophyll.
On with the Borophyll. Love it. Yeah, I don't mind. I didn't think that my pick for safety was very good either, as Scott was letting me know all week in Andre Cisco. It would just fit the center fielder mold of what he might be able to plug in at a decent price, and this is another option here that fits the bill of let's go out and get a prove it deal, have the chance to earn a bunch of money if you play lights out, and see. Obviously, people already commenting about bringing an edge. It's going to usher in the attitude era of the Buffalo Bills here under Jim Leonhard, right? So we're excited for that. Dee Alford also signed, slot from the Falcons. Had a better season last year than his season prior. So coming off some career highs, what do you guys think about adding D to the Bills D?
One last thing to add on CJ before we move on. He's played in big games. He won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. He was in a Super Bowl with the Eagles before that. So like he's played big time football. He has playoff experience, and you can't have too many guys who are Super Bowl champs on your roster. So I like that aspect of it as well.
And just for the comments, Brisker Eric signed for 1 year, $5.5 million. So probably he's very similar to what CJ Gardner-Johnson just got from us.
You think he got $5 million?
5.5, yeah.
Probably up to. I don't think he's seen that much.
Yeah, it doesn't say if it's up to or not. It just said 1 year, 5.5. I'm guessing it's going to be similar though to
yeah, you always got to remember the first number you see is what the agent tells the guy to report. So
yeah. But either way, both 1 year deals, both Bears safeties going to 1 year deals, back to the AFC for both of them. Dee Alford though, yeah, Dee Alford's another one that's kind of interesting to me. The initial number, that was one where the initial number reported was way different than what it actually came out to. They originally reported 3 for 21, and then it was 3 to 15, which can be a sizable difference for a team like the Bills. So yeah, I'm definitely interested to see how they use him. I'm guessing he'll play that Taron Johnson role of just being a nickel. And if they absolutely need him to, he can play boundary, but I feel like it will only happen if literally every single DB goes down. So yeah.
Not even if there's a fire.
Not even if there's a fire, no.
Yeah, I think I saw he played like 77% of his snaps in the slot, and he's solid there. He had 3 picks last year, one of them off our good friend Josh Allen. He had the interception, the play before Drake London stepped out of bounds at the 1, when it was like, all right, like just don't turn the ball over. Very similar to the Broncos game, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Don't turn the ball over and go to the half, and he almost gave the other team points. A Taron Johnson replacement, it seems, but different style player. Less of a need for him to come down and kind of play like a will linebacker at times the way Taron did, but in this system, he's not going to have to do that. So yeah, a good nickel guy who, like you said, can play in other spots if needed. So I think for some Bills fans, it was maybe an underwhelming first signing, because I'm sure a lot of people hadn't heard of them, even though he picked off Josh Allen. Like, we all knew who he was. But yeah, I like it. I think
we all didn't know who he was.
I know.
This guy forgot about week 6 already.
Yeah.
Silly me. But yeah, no, it's a good move for a player sort of trending upward, I think, in his career. Hopefully takes another step in production with the Bills and is able to fill in nicely in the role. I think they're going to have multiple roles for him based upon what he's said about his conversation with Jim Leonhard. So let's see if he can set even further career highs in his first season in Buffalo here.
And if I complimented CJ Gardner-Johnson on his Super Bowl win, I would it would be rude of me to not compliment Dee Alford on his Grey Cup win. He won a championship in the CFL. So couple of champs joining the roster.
The pedigree added to the D here.
That's right.
All right. Kyle Allen. Not really sure. Not a good segue talking about pedigree and then talking about Kyle Allen. But what do you guys think of the backup quarterback rate? I mean, it's going to be a competition maybe. Shane Buechele, Kyle Allen. Is it Kyle Allen's job right away? And do you think that they could do better with a backup quarterback, or is it just a non-issue for you because Josh Allen, knock on wood, hasn't missed a game in a long time?
Yeah, he fits our number one standard of being a backup quarterback, and that's being good friends with Josh Allen. Yep. That's where all of them have come from, and I'm fine with it. Like, hopefully we don't have to see him. He's not a bad backup. Like, when he's had to play, he's done fine. He was a big-time recruit coming out of high school. I think he was top 10 quarterback. I know. Went to A&M, didn't quite work out. I think he got hurt, and then he bounced around. But as far as backup quarterbacks go, you can do a lot worse than a guy who's been in the league for, what will this be, his 8th season? And he gets along in the locker room. He's already been here. So, yeah, I've no problem with it. Don't really feel any kind of way about it, to be honest with you.
Another voice, for Josh Allen sort of to echo or bounce ideas off of. Very comfortable with him, like you mentioned, being – I think that's the one good part about having Josh Allen's friends working with him, is that hopefully they have more of an open, honest communication about what they're seeing, and, hopefully can get Josh motivated. Not that he doesn't already know if he makes a mistake and ribs himself enough, but hopefully just gives him, puts him over that edge just a little bit more to be even greater than he already is on his own.
And since I'm doing accolades, Liberty Bowl MVP. They don't just go give those away.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't mind it at all. It's a backup quarterback. And with how backup quarterback market is, if you're the Bills, it doesn't make sense to try to go get anybody that's worth more, because bigger time backups like Marcus Mariota and them, they're getting $7 to $8 million. That's not worth it for the Bills to do anything like that. I still wish that they would just draft a quarterback in the 6th or 7th round and just say, okay, now we get a quarterback and a cost-controlled, cheap contract for at least the next 3 years. Or 7th, 6th, and 7th, are they 3 years still for a contract?
I think it's 4.
I thought they would have been 3 for 6th and 7th. Maybe I was wrong. Yeah, but either way, you get them locked up on a contract. And it's also just something where it's like, if Josh ever did go down with a rookie like backup, or just a backup you've never seen, there is that chance that kind of brings a little excitement to you. Or with Kyle Allen, I think for everybody, it wouldn't necessarily, I mean, either way, it wouldn't be excitement because you're just watching Josh Allen off the field. But with a rookie, I think, you don't know what you're going to get, where Kyle Allen, you pretty much know what you're going to get. And there's less reason to be optimistic if Josh were to go down. But like I said, it's a backup quarterback, and hopefully it doesn't matter at all.
If Josh goes down, we're not winning any games anyway, so you could put any of us at backup quarterback and probably go the same way. So you might as well get somebody who the team likes and who Josh likes, and it's fun to hang out with at least.
I can very confidently say that you would be a much better backup quarterback than I would be for this team. But That's here nor there. Then the penetrating edge rusher, Bradley Chubb. Benjamin Shoop, please tell me everything you think about the Bradley Chubb signing, bringing another guy who's going to bring an edge to this defense at edge. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I actually really like this signing for Bradley Chubb. I saw some people saying, "Oh, is this Von Miller 2.0? Is this Von Miller?" To me, Trey Hendrickson would have been closer to that risk if you would have signed Trey Hendrickson to that money over signing Bradley Chubb to a deal that for edge rushers is very, very good for the Bills. Like, you're not going to get an edge rusher that had around 50 pressures, that had between a 12, I believe it was a 12.2 pressure rate last season. For that money, or for this little of money, it's rarely going to happen. I mean, you just saw Jalen Phillips get $30 million a year. You've seen a lot of big time, or not even big time, just edge rushers getting big time money. So for $14 million ish per year, for 3 years, I didn't see the details come out yet for the contract, but my guess would be it's backloaded and the first year is a little bit lower cap hit than 14. But yeah, I mean, 8.5 sacks last year coming off an ACL, 29 about to be 30. So that's the other thing too. It's not a 33-year-old, 32-year-old. This is a guy that can probably give you 2 good years before he really starts to hit a wall. And by that time, the third year, like I was talking about with the contract, I'm also guessing that it will be an easy out to get out of that third year. So I like it. I think it's a good person you can line up across from Groot there. He can play the run way better than a guy like Hendrickson ever would. I did want Crosby a lot more, but obviously that requires more hoops to jump through. But either way, I like this signing.
Yeah,
Lance,
you're muted, Lance, but I'm assuming you said good point, Ben.
I was just going to throw in there that Sam Carrick scores for the Sabres, and if you're following along with us while also following the Sabres game, there's that. So 1-0 Sabres.
Wow, good. Hot start for the boys.
Should have known that he was going to score, and
yeah, could have been millionaires.
Yep, could have. Go ahead, Scott.
Maybe next time. Yeah, I like it too. Compared to what some edges are getting, like you pointed out, this deal is not that expensive. He's younger than Trey Hendrickson. He's not coming off of a recent injury like Trey Hendrickson. And when Bradley Chubb's on the field, he's awesome. He had 8.5 sacks this past season, I think it was. Yeah, missed the year before with his knee injury. Had 11 the year before that, and had a solid career in Denver. He's had a few injuries along the way, but when he's on the field, he's great. Hopefully last season playing every game is a trend. And I think with him, it's been like major injuries too. It hasn't been like nagging things.
2 or 3, like, yeah, it's
2 or 3 years. He's missed like almost the whole season.
Yeah. If he misses time, it's not going to be, he's gone for 3 weeks and then he comes back for a game, then 3 more weeks. It's not going to be on and off. It will be either he's out or he's in.
Right. And another top 10 pick from the Josh Allen draft 2018, the 5th pick. So yeah, I like it. They needed help at edge. They needed a pass rusher. They got one. And with what the Bills have in cap space without getting super creative, this is probably about as good as it's going to get. I'll bet they'll add to it in the draft and add some more rotational pieces, but he also fits in perfectly in the 3-4 that they're going to play. He's played in this system before. He's that stand-up outside linebacker type who's going to rush from, like a wide 9 or like at least a 7 technique. Like he's going to line up like way outside and then try to beat the tackle to the corner. So he's going to fit in really well. And I'll stick with my accolades theme. He won the Nagurski Trophy in college for best defensive player in college, along with a slew of others. Kid was a stud at NC State, which is why he was drafted top 5. But yeah, I like it. And if he stays healthy, I think he'll make a great impact. And opposite side of Groot, very good against the run. And him on the other side, we got a couple good like stand-up outside linebackers.
And he's the 3rd Bill now, current Bill, that was in the 2018 first round. Him, Josh, and DJ Moore.
Oh, bring Tremaine Edmonds back. Well, he already signed somewhere. We would have had them all. We can sign Josh Rosen.
Yeah, we could. There's your backup quarterback
Ooh.
for real cheap. Give him $1
Yep.
and he'll probably do it.
That guy's IQ. That guy's all I talked about was the IQ. What coming out? What an idiot I was.
Hey man.
One of those
He
guys.
was so smart he knew he didn't have to play football. That was the problem.
Yeah.
Fair.
You need guys who are smart enough that they get it, but dumb enough to know dumb enough to not know they have other options.
Fair enough. I don't mind Bradley Chubb. I don't think that it's a huge, doesn't get me amped up just yet, but I think when we see some things in the preseason training camp and stuff from Bradley Chubb, we may feel differently. We'll see what it looks like on a field in a Bills uniform, and then I'm anxious to see exactly where and how Leonhard sort of deploys some of these guys. So I think it's a decent move for, like Scott said, the money. You have to get guys at an affordable price for this roster build, and that certainly fits the bill with Chubb. All right, now on to other moves that are not outsiders. The Bills retained Connor McGovern, center, on a 4-year, $52 million deal. Pretty team-friendly deal, again, for the Bills, bringing back Connor McGovern. Here's one where I am going to get a little excited about it. I think, keeping the continuity with the quarterback center exchange and the offensive line sort of calls and things like that, communication, keeping the guys fed with pizzas. I think all that stuff is good for an offensive line. So Connor McGovern rejoining, was super bummed when we thought he wasn't going to, or he told us he wasn't thinking he would. And now that he's back, glad to see it and excited for what's to come with the Bills offensive line. May not be done yet on the offensive line, but what do you think, Scott, about the Connor McGovern deal?
I'm pumped about it. Yeah, when we got the notification Saturday, it came out of nowhere, because last week it was reported that they hadn't talked since the Broncos game, and the Bills had just made that DJ Moore move, which was going to cost them some money, and it was like, well, if they're gonna try to save some money somewhere, it would make sense to not bring this guy back. And who knows, maybe Connor releasing that to the media kind of sparked something, or maybe his agent was talking to him the whole time, but just not wasting his time with low offers. But yeah, it's super team friendly deal, especially when Tyler Linderbaum signed 3 years, $81 million, $13 million a year. It is awesome for a guy who is a top 5 center in the NFL, I would say. So yeah, really excited about it, and keeping that line continuity, like you mentioned, is huge. Only one spot to fill on that line, and that could very well be with a guy like Alec Anderson, who's been there and started games and also a part of that. So yeah, the Bills offensive line, which was one of the best in football last year, if not the best, keeping that together, protecting Josh Allen. You saw how well they blocked for James Cook. You can't not be excited about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to keep one of the two on the offensive line, and McGovern was the one that I wanted over Edwards. Yeah. And I thought it would be take more to get him to come back. So I really like the deal. A friend of the show as well, as Lance mentioned. So yeah, it's awesome to see him get paid and be excited to be here. And the quote of saying, what will a couple more million do for me when I can just stay in Buffalo and still get a contract that is a ton of money. So yeah, it just is refreshing to see a guy, still want to stay. And, it definitely does make it easier to turn down a few million when you know that your job's going to be made easier by having Josh Allen back there. So yeah, I like it. I'm glad he's back, and keeping for the offensive lineman next year, keeping it the same.
Yeah, definitely not worth a couple more mil to try to move a family. I'm sure that's playing a part in it as well. It's always difficult, but also, it just lends itself to show, again, more about the family atmosphere here in the Bills organization that they've created. Sort of, these guys want to be here around each other. And look, Connor's probably one of the better human beings in football, or as an athlete even. Super gracious, spending time with us last season and things of that nature. So happy for him. Happy he's going to get to play where he wants to be too. So glad it all worked out for both sides really well, honestly. Other moves that the Bills made, they tendered RVD and brought back Mitch Wisnowski. Like the Vandemark tender, I think you have to keep the swing tackle position in play here. He's very familiar with that role, and wasn't bad at all when he had to come in last year. So I like having him waiting in the wings, so to speak, if needed to be called upon. And then I don't really care who our punter is, to be honest with you. I'm sorry. Maybe it matters to some people when they get really into it, but the punters just aren't going to do it for me. But
you're going to care if you're going to care if they're bad and they're giving bad field position, like Sam Martin.
Yeah, Sam Martin was rough, but yeah, I mean, it's obviously a part of the game, but I just can't get excited or mad about a punter.
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, Lance, I'm with you. Punters, who cares? Do I want a bad one? Absolutely not, because we've seen that they can affect the game. But if our season comes down to whether our punter has a good punt or not, I think we're going to be a little more upset and have a few more problems to talk about than just that. So, yeah, that one doesn't really mean much. But yeah, Vandemark, I'm a little shocked that they did actually tender him. And either way, it's not a lot of money, but I thought that they would say, hey, we could probably just get him back for $1.5 million. Like that's kind of was my thought process, but I guess, they wanted him back. They wanted to make sure, and he'll be back, and it's just good depth.
Yeah, I like that he's back as well. But I agree with you. I was a little surprised because I assumed Tylan Grable would kind of slide into that swing tackle role. They like him a lot. They've hit him on IR for 2 years. So I thought maybe it made sense that they just give that role to him this year. But I mean, if you have a good player in the building and you can bring him back and it's affordable, why not do it? So I get it. But also with Wisnowski, one of the best nicknames out there, the Boomin' Onion, because he's one of the several Australian punters out there.
Incredible. Yeah, I think it's the backup quarterback and the punter are on the same level here. With not going to care about them until you have to. And they're also
the holder.
Yep. Yeah, one of the two is going to need to be. And nowadays the punter is more than the backup quarterback. So, good comment here from What's Good Ike. Do the Bills make another move? If so, what will it be? The Bills are almost certainly going to make other moves here. There's plenty of roster positions to fill out. So they're definitely going to make more moves. We're going to get into the free agent options we like the best in just a bit here. But, there's still defensive line, offensive line potential, linebacker potential, wide receiver, cornerback. So we're going to get in more as far as what the move will be or what we'd like it to be. But certainly the Bills are not done making moves here, fellas, right?
Yeah. They got to get more guys. Like you said, Lance, they got plenty of holes, so there definitely will be. I do want to say, though, do not expect anything big. I would not expect that from now until this start of the season. Just again, we're tight on money. I would expect a lot of depth signings and maybe low risk deals for guys that could potentially step into a bigger role with the Bills. And then I would expect them to go into the draft with a few holes that they know, hey, these are going to be the 2 or 3 positions we're really going to target in the draft. So yeah, I mean they definitely have to bring in a few other guys. There might be a few guys that maybe to Bills fans are bigger moves, but money-wise, I don't think. I think you'll probably get some steals. We're going to get to some guys a little bit later that I think could be potential steals for the Bills at this point and just going forward. So, yeah, they have to make some. They definitely will. I would expect a lot of defensive moves before, just because the offense, they seem set, and at least with the starters, they're pretty much set, unless they want to go get a guard. But yeah, maybe a receiver too. But defense, I would expect heavy defense. Linebackers, I just saw TJ bringing up who our linebackers will be, who's going to be next to Bernard, who's going to be fighting there with Andreessen and them. They'll get some guys. There's still a lot of linebackers that I do like that I think they could bring in. So I wouldn't stress too much on linebackers. Also, just thinking about how this probably will be a defense where it's a defensive change. New guy coming in, they're shifting everything. They're probably going to want their linebackers. They're leaders of the defense. So I also wouldn't be surprised if they just wait for another starting linebacker till the draft.
Yeah, they're absolutely going to make more moves. Agree with you. Probably on the defensive side of the ball more than anything. They need a nose tackle. There isn't one of those on the roster right now that can play nose the way it's needed to be played in the 3-4. So there's not a whole lot of that up in the draft. And I also don't think they would put that on a rookie right away. So I would imagine the nose tackle is one of the next moves that's made. And other than that, yeah, just filling out the defense. There's some depth spots that need to be filled. Another corner, they're going to have to bring in some more linebackers, like you mentioned. But yeah, a nose tackle needs to be brought in sooner rather than later, I would think.
Yeah, agree. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in our next segment, so I'm not going to belabor that point. All right, Scott. I'll let you read this list of our fallen homies, as it says here.
Yeah, well, let's pour one out for the fallen homies. The Bills brought in players, but some guys also had to leave. So we can talk about this or not talk about it. But some guys who played some meaningful snaps not coming back. David Edwards got paid from the New Orleans Saints. That means the Bills will have a new starting left guard. This one hurt my heart, but the Bills weren't giving him $12 million. Reggie Gilliam to the Patriots. You hate to see it. He was a big reason James Cook won the rushing title last season. He's undrafted, came in here out of a MAC school. You root for those kids, but unfortunately, $12 million he wasn't going to get in Buffalo. So good for him for getting the bag, but we will miss Reggie in Buffalo. Cam Lewis, another one of those guys undrafted out of the University of Buffalo, really carved out a nice niche for himself in this offense. Started some games, played safety, played nickel, played corner when he had to. He's one of those like Swiss Army knife guys who is going to be missed. But unfortunately, the moment many Bills fans will probably remember him for is basically catching that one-handed catch for Justin Jefferson in one of the craziest Bills losses of a lot of crazy Bills losses. Mitch Trubisky to the Titans. He'll go back up Cam Ward there. And then Darnell Savage, hopefully see you never, buddy. He signed with the Steelers as well. So some other Bills guys who were signed, and a lot of guys out there as well still available. AJ Epinesa, Trey White, Joey Bosa still out there. Maybe some of those guys end up coming back, but those are the Bills' meaningful free agents who've signed elsewhere so far.
Yeah, I'm really sad to see Cam Lewis go, actually, because he was a guy. I loved just his versatility. I love the way he's a UB guy. That I know you, Scott. You said Gilliam definitely hurts. I think it hurts more because it's the Pats. If it wasn't the Pats, I feel like I'd be kind of fine with it. Yeah. If it wasn't a division team, Mitch didn't really change anything. Edwards, you kind of knew once McGovern was there. But yeah, Cam Lewis is the one that I
thought he'd be back.
I thought he would too, but it might just be one of those things where he was getting other offers, and they felt like the way that they would use him, they can get somebody for cheaper and similar production. But that one hurts.
He also may have just realized that other teams are interested in him, because his first couple times in free agency is just like, I'll take any contract I can get. But now that he have put a bit more film out there, some other interest. He could start there realistically.
He could,
because both the Bears safeties, like we just talked about, are gone.
Yeah, we'll have the opportunity. Lance, do you have anything on any of those guys before we go to around the league?
I think David Edwards was obviously known, like we talked about, had to be one of the two, or neither of the two. Probably knew it wasn't going to be both. Reggie Gilliam, obviously, like you guys have already said, I think that sort of felt like he was a Bill for life, and now he goes to the Patriots. It's just sort of a very strange feeling on the sledgehammer. Cam Lewis, was a Swiss Army knife, like Scott said, and good for him. He gets a new opportunity, and one of those guys I think you kind of would follow, being a homegrown UB product as well. Kind of just follow him and keep tabs on how he plays throughout his career. But was good at many times while here. So that's it. Yeah, go ahead with the around the league, Ben.
One thing we did just quick. They also extended Dawson Knox. We didn't mention that. He's still on the team, so nothing really changed. And that extension was mostly, like Ben mentioned on the show last week, just open up some cap space, but he'll be here for 2 more seasons after this one. And we still haven't seen the numbers yet, waiting for those to come out, but I'm guessing it opened $10 million in cap space, something like that.
And as much as, yes, Kincaid being healthy, Joey might have changed a little bit. I still think that just like how the 3 tight ends work, they use them a lot. So I don't necessarily like maybe that would have been the extra push for them to be fine to get rid of Knox. But I also think they knew Knox wanted to be here. They like those 3 tight ends. They're heavily used for the Bills. So they were going to, I think they went into the offseason with the mindset of not, we need to keep Knox because Kincaid can't stay healthy. It was, we want to keep him here. And if it's the absolute last thing we need to do, we are fine cutting him, but they prefer to keep him.
I don't even know if they ever seriously considered cutting him.
That's what I think so too. I think they may have traded him if they would have gotten like a good enough offer.
I don't know who was taking that contract, but yeah.
Exactly. That's the other thing. I don't know if they would have gotten an offer at all. And John, I haven't seen this, but that's you're gonna make me actually go check it because
he had surgery.
He did say that.
He posted
some stuff on his IG story some time ago, right?
Oh
yeah, he had a neck surgery and like he's hopeful he can come back, but like they don't know for sure. It depends on how the surgery goes.
That would be huge for
like
them.
But even Manning type fusion type stuff there.
I don't know if it's. They never really said what it was, but
hopefully regeneration.
Anytime you're getting surgery on your spine, it's not ideal. So yeah, it all just depends how the surgery goes and how his body reacts to it. So yeah, he hopefully can come back, but like I don't think they know anything more than they did before the surgery.
Yeah. All right, but yeah, around the league, there's not. I mean, obviously, there's a lot that's going on around the league, but there's not anything a ton that is massive news to the point where it's going to get its own segment because we're obviously not going to go over everything that's been going around in the league.
I thought you were going to read every free agent signing.
Oh, I mean, I can if you'd like after your great list of fallen homies. You did a good job.
I gave details to them. It wasn't just these 5 names.
Great job reading that list, and just as the list guy, I want to say I'm proud of you for that reading of that list there.
Notice I gave some context to each one. It wasn't just bang, bang, bang. You got to break it up. Keep the people guessing.
Hey, man, hey. But yeah, around the league, we'll go with obviously the one situation that everybody was talking about that kind of included or involved the Bills in some way. The Max Crosby situation with the Ravens and the Raiders. How about how they had a trade until Tuesday night at about 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, maybe a little
8:30. I was sitting at the bar before the Siena game.
Okay, maybe it was a bit way earlier than that, but either way,
what were you drinking there?
I had 3 mango carts and a sweet heat chicken sandwich. Then I went and watched my team win a championship. I wasn't going to have any beers at the game, but when the other team went on a 10-0 run to close the first half, I had to get one at halftime.
Amazing.
Sorry, just got to confuse me. Distract me on that. But yeah, Max Crosby was supposed to be going to Baltimore, as we all knew, with the 2 first-round picks, pick 14, and then the 2027 pick for the Ravens. And then, yeah, Wednesday or Tuesday night, they were like, actually, we kind of don't want to do this. We don't think that his physical was good enough, so they backed out. And now he's going back to the Raiders. Who knows what will happen there? But I guess I just want we'll start with you, Lance. What are your thoughts on the situation as a whole? what do you think about it from the Ravens perspective, from the Raiders perspective, and then as a kind of neutral fan of neither team?
Yeah, the optics obviously are very poor from a lot of people, and I guess deservedly so. Anytime you have an agreement and you renege on it, it's not going to look good on you. But I don't know necessarily how they didn't have all the information prior to his visit and understand the whole situation. But I did also say to you guys, like, it's kind of their prerogative if they feel like that's not the direction they want to go. The league year isn't here yet, and they have every right to do what they think is best for their franchise. So I can understand it from their standpoint in that regard, but it may or may not have future implications on any sort of dealings with other teams, and maybe nobody's going to think about it again. And then, after the next 24 hours or so, and they'll go on about their life, but, potentially damaging a little bit of a reputation that could affect you in future deals is never super good business, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't really think it's going to have any kind of an impact on them dealing with other teams. Like, this stuff happens, and the Ravens have done this before, and it hasn't come up. Like, this is just maybe a bigger magnitude than it was. I will say there were teams around the league that were also concerned with his medicals, and you can say, oh, like, how do they not know? But like, until you get like your own doctors to look at it and like they get their hands on them, like they can, you don't really know. And it was actually the Cowboys doctor that advised them not to go through with it. Like, who knows? Maybe conspiracy theorists can say an ulterior motives, but the Cowboys doctor does a lot of surgeries for NFL players. There were two that had surgeries this offseason that he did. I'm blanking on who they were, but the Cowboys doctor does a lot of surgeries for guys around the league. And he was the one who told the Ravens, like, hey, I wouldn't feel comfortable with this guy's long-term health. And the guy plays through everything, which is awesome, but also puts a lot of wear and tear on the initial injury and the other things that are overcompensating. Were they being maybe a bit too careful? Maybe. Is it real shady that they signed Trey Hendrickson the next day? A little bit. The Ravens claim they were going to try to get both. I don't know how in the world they would have afforded to do that, but that's what they claim they were trying to do. I don't know if I believe that, but I think when they made the trade, maybe they had some kind of idea that, like, hey, we're going to like do our own deep dive into this. And maybe they were negotiating with him because this was always kind of in the back of their mind, but it was definitely weird when it happened. And being here in Baltimore, I can tell you Ravens fans are not happy. Like, they don't want Trey Hendrickson. I didn't want Trey Hendrickson on the Bills. Max Crosby is a much, much, much better player than Trey Hendrickson, in my opinion. So they don't necessarily love the swap that was made, but they got their picks back. They got a D-end. And was it weird? Yeah, but like, I don't think it was as big a deal as people made it.
Yeah. I always said it with like anybody that was super upset with the Ravens for this. I just kind of asked, like, if the Bills did something similar.
Grass.
Well, also, like, if the Bills would have done something similar, what would your feelings have been? I think a lot of Bills fans would have the opposite feeling of like, oh, awesome, we get our picks back and we still get an edge. I think people would be happy with it. Is it something that could potentially affect how free agency is done in the future? Yeah,
it's not free agency though. Like, it's a trade.
They're the legal. You know what I mean? Like the start of the year when moves become official. Will they?
Yeah, but like teams back out of trades because of medical stuff. Like, I don't want to say all the time, but like, it happens. Like, I don't know how you would do that, because someone could trade for somebody at the trade deadline and then do their medical and do the same thing. And I'm pretty sure that happens. But like, I don't know how you. But at the trade deadline, you can say it's holding up other teams trading for them.
This is the only time though of the year where teams, when there's a trade made, right now is affecting how the rest of the offseason will go. A mid-season trade is not going to affect how the offseason. I mean, it can, obviously, but it won't impact the the league as much as a move like this had. Like this move definitely affected how the league played out with free agency, with some of the free agents at least. Like the Ravens probably get some guys back that they lost. The Raiders probably don't sign as many guys as they did. So
I don't know. They're able to afford all of them, so maybe they would have. And also,
I mean,
like, if the
maybe,
Ravens
but
wanted Trey
you know what I mean, though.
Hendrickson,
It's just more of that, like, will the league look at this and say, what can we do to try to prevent something like this from happening again? Do they give more time in between the tampering or the start of the league, and or do they?
well,
do
like they could have made
you,
this. They could have made this trade 3 weeks ago. Like, I don't know how you would do more time. Like, they could have.
Well, you could.
the trade.
Well, the only idea I had was if you had it where you can still make trades, right? Every trade that is made before tampering period opens has to be already checked physical pass before then, and then that tampering period until the league starts, trades are not allowed. You can only do signings. That's the way I thought. It's the only way that I think would even be possible. I don't think the league will do it because, like you said, there's not exactly a great way to go about this. Like, it's something that everybody's saying that the NFL should do something. That was the thing for me. It was like, what can they do? They can't. The Ravens didn't break any rules. They didn't.
No, and like, if they wanted Trey Hendrickson, they could have had him the whole time. Like that's what people was like. Oh, like because like Trey Hendrickson was a free agent, they could have just signed him, but I think they wanted Crosby, and then when they did a deep dive into the medicals, there was some real concerns there, and then the fact they could get their picks back, like that definitely helps. But like if they could have had Hendrickson the whole time, so why go through all of that if like that was what you were planning on doing? Like I think there were real concerns with his medicals.
There's definitely some shady, I think, thoughts process with the Ravens on this. Like that's the thing I'll say. Like I'm saying, Bills fans wouldn't be happy or wouldn't be upset if they did something like this, or they wouldn't think it's scummy. Like, yeah, it was definitely a scummy thing for the Ravens to do. It's no doubt about it. But like you said, Scott, I don't think it's as big of a deal as everybody's initially reaction. I mean, obviously, initial reaction is always going to be usually worse than once you let time go on. But there's nothing really the league could do. The Ravens, it's not the best look for them, but they didn't break any rules. So there's only such a level of annoyed or mad at the Ravens for doing this that somebody can get. And that's the one thing I think a lot of fans went over that point of being too mad about this, where it's something that, I mean, also kind of maybe even help the Bills from stopping them from signing Hendrickson.
I am much happier that the Ravens have Trey Hendrickson and not Max Crosby. But there was something I was just gonna say, and it disappeared. Oh yeah. So like people saying like, oh, teams might not make deals with the Ravens. Like, if the Ravens offer somebody the best deal, another team is going to take it. Like, they're not going to be like, oh, I don't like the Ravens, so I'm going to help my team less than I could. Like, that's the same thing when people said like, oh, Drew Rosenhaus his clients won't want to play for the Bills because of what they did to Darius Slay. Like, no, that's.
I mean, maybe teams do treat DaCosta differently next year before the tampering period opens. Maybe like if DaCosta's doing the same thing, looking for a trade, they might be like, hey, okay, but you need this to be approved before free agency start. Like that might be the only thing that changes. But I don't think, like you said, they're not going to be like, no, we're not dealing with you because of what happened with Max Crosby. That's not going to happen. But it might, like, next offseason changed how maybe some teams
but next offseason they're probably not trading 2 first-round picks for somebody.
Yeah, it also won't be like you said, where it's like, no, we're not going to trade with you even if it's a good trade for us because you did that. If it's a good trade for a team, they're going to do that. Lance, you got anything else on the Crosby? Sorry, kind of just went off on a tangent there.
All good. I'll let you guys go. I let you guys have your run at it. I stand by what I said at the beginning. So signing you want to roll into a sign. I'm just going to say I'm super intrigued to see what Kyler Murray will do in Minnesota. Just seeing that come through. Jonathan Jones, I think, was signed by the Eagles while y'all were in that tirade there, if you will. But I'm intrigued by the Kyler Murray to Minnesota deal.
Yeah. Minnesota, man, Are they the new Colts when it comes to quarterbacks, where every year for the next 10 years they're going to have a different quarterback, starting quarterback? But it seems like J.J. McCarthy is kind of not part of their plans anymore. And
I think he still is. It's just a 1 year.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think it's Kyler Murray's job.
Yeah, they're not. But I would be very shocked if Kyler doesn't get this job. I mean, they've given JJ 2 chances.
Kyler's not good either.
And he's, I would say, better than JJ McCarthy's been in his career, significantly better.
Yeah, but JJ McCarthy's only played 9 games. I don't think this is them giving up on them. I just think this is them having a good backup plan in case JJ doesn't work out, because their roster is so good that if they get decent quarterback play, they're going to the playoffs. So I don't think it's them giving up on JJ. I think it's them being like, hey, JJ, if you don't White Goodman grab this job by the horns in the preseason, we have somebody who can come in and play competent football. Well, whatever Kyler Murray does.
Also, sorry, this is random. Joey, the Ravens would be denied to do that, by the way.
I think he meant Crosby, and they're not. I don't think they're going to trade him anymore.
Yeah, I mean, they still could, but it won't be for as much as they got. And I don't think the Bills were even the second option for the Raiders, because there were other teams that were involved that also had higher picks than the Bills that were probably willing to give up 2 first-rounders. And, I mean, that's the tough part about it. Sorry to get back on that, but that's the tough part is Bills, when you're picking late, your picks aren't as valuable, and the Ravens weren't the only ones that were in on it. So I don't think he would have been coming to Buffalo anyways unless the Bills gave up even more. But regardless, yeah, Kyler Murray's definitely an interesting one. Scott, do you want to say your kind of signing that you liked from a team, or even disliked, if you have one that you disliked?
I like Geno Smith back on the Jets. I think it's hilarious. I hope no one breaks his jaw this time, and I like that the Jets are going to be bad again.
That's a solid one. I find the Cole Strange one funny because it's just, again, another team that's willing to give money out to him when he's proven absolutely nothing to be a capable starter in this league. And the Chargers also just makes it funny again because their answer to O-line is to do the same thing again and overpay for guys that have – I just accidentally clicked on that. Overpay for guys that are just not going to help their offensive line. And Justin Herbert, again, will likely be running for his life and not have a fun time. So that's the one that I find interesting as well. Not really a good interesting, but just interesting. So yeah, that's going to be my pick.
Funny,
there.
Sad, not funny. Ha.
Yeah.
If you haven't done so already, please like and share this episode. Shout out to our sponsors, the Big Tree Inn, Wingnuts Buffalo, 7-1 Slicks, and the Lancaster Indoor Bounce House. We appreciate all of our partners who are rocking with us. If you haven't eaten dinner yet, go out to the Big Tree Inn tonight for wing night. Get that Murph sauce, my favorite sauce, or whichever they make. All good sauces there. Lancaster Indoor Bounce House, good, clean fun when on a rainy day. Has a little arcade in there as well. So get over there, and shout out to John and Quan, operators of Wingnuts Buffalo, there for having us out so many times throughout the last season. And we look forward to continuing that relationship with them. My guy Dennis over at 7-1 Slicks with his guys, Jake and Matt over there. Go to the Cut app and book your cut with them today. Just was there on Saturday. Saw the guys, got a little fresh trim here. So really appreciate, again, all the sponsors and partners that rock with us each and every year. All right, guys, let's do our top 3 free agent options remaining for the Bills at this point in free agency. I did have a safety on my list, and then 5 minutes before the show, removed the safety and put on a linebacker, I believe. Or maybe I put on a defensive lineman because I already had a linebacker. Scott, who's your number 1 option, or number 3, however you want to play it?
I'll start from number 3. Keep the people, build the anticipation. It's called the trees. My number 3, Shaq Thompson. Bills haven't signed any linebackers yet. Here's one that we had in just last season who played some of the best football of his career on one hamstring. So I would like to bring him back. I don't think he'd be that expensive, despite him saying he wanted to go somewhere and get paid. But I think the market's showing that that's not going to be the case for him. So I would like to bring him back. I think he'd fit in very well at one of those 2 middle linebacker roles in the 3-4. And I would like Shaq Thompson back on my football team, please.
My third also was switched because I did also have a safety as well, but now it has a boundary corner, and it's also somebody I would like to see back. Boundary corner is a weird one because I think there's a lot of depth guys out there that I'd be fine with, but I'm gonna go with Trey White. I mean, I think a lot of Bills fans would love to see him back. Obviously, fan favorite. Definitely did have some up and down moments throughout this last season, but for the most part, I thought that he played his role pretty well. So I would like him back here and as a depth boundary corner, as a guy that can also be a vet for these guys in the locker room, continue to help Max Hairston grow. I think, again, we talked last year about how they were very similar builds and just comparing the two have some similarities in the size and just how they play. When it comes to just using their size. So I'd like to have Trey back for yeah, really mostly just depth and hopefully not a starting spot as corner 2 this year. But yeah, that's going to be my number 3.
I'd like to say Trey White is my honorable mention, but my number 3 is Bobby Okereke, linebacker, played last year with the Giants, come in and play inside across from Bernard potentially. So we'll see how this defense is deployed and what the guys' roles are under Jim Leonhard. But at this point, that would be the hole that they would need to fill, is another inside backer there for the traditional 3-4 alignment. So Bobby Okereke would be my pick as the addition at that spot.
Do you want me to go into number 2, Lance, since you and Scott have the same number 2?
That'd be great.
Okay, so my number 2, I broke in a rule that isn't even a rule because there are no rules with this. I have 2 guys for my number 2 because they're both the same position and just get one of them. So there's no rule against it, and I'm going to do it. So I have 2 guys there.
4 players in your top 3.
Get one of them. Get one of the 2 as another receiver in here. One of the guys I have, I just don't think money-wise will be possible. I'm just shocked he's still there, and I'm curious on what his market really is right now, is Juwan Jennings. Played through injuries all last year, some kind of crazy injuries he played through. I believe he played through like 6 broken ribs on top of a sprained ankle and something else too. Like just unbelievable injuries. He played through it 3rd and Juan, as they used to say in San Francisco. So 3rd down, he was their go-to guy. Good end zone target if you can get him for cheap. But if my prediction is true and he's outside the price range for the Bills, Christian Kirk. I know I've heard his name thrown around, but he's obviously friends with Josh Allen. And as Lance said earlier, we love friends of Josh Allen on this team. You need to have them help make Josh happy. And Christian Kirk, I still think, has some great football left in him. And I think you could get him for cheap. So get one of the 2. Those are going to be my number 2.
You want to say our number 2, or do you want me to? Let's say it at the same time.
Let's say it at the same time. 1, 2, 3. Sebastian
Joseph Day.
Yay. Nose tackle. We all been talking about needing a nose tackle. One of the better ones still available. So maybe the best, except for Scott's number 1. But we talked a little bit. I mean, I think you kind of went over his fit last week as well. Traditional nose tackle, 6'4", 310, going to be age 31 season here. So, plug up some gaps, maintain the gap integrity, and be a cog in the wheel here.
Yeah, they need a nose tackle. He's a nose tackle. Bring him in.
We're going to bring in Miles Finch.
What's more vulnerable than a peach?
Absolutely. All right. Well, you guys have the same number 1, so I guess I'll go with my number 1, Wyatt Teller, guard.
I'd like it on the record. I had my list first.
You did?
It's because
And
you were in
both-
here first, and I don't want to hear it.
It's because I make the outline every week.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because you make great outlines, except you still don't do the one thing that I ask. The only one thing I ask when it comes to making the outline, but we're not going to get into that right now because the viewers don't care about that.
I can't. It has to be words. You have to learn how to read sooner or later. I can't have it be a voice to text outline.
Yeah, well, I know you don't know what the space button is. Space bar.
You don't put spaces.
Hit it. You can hit it.
You don't put spaces between slashes.
I always have. It looks weird if it's not, because then it looks like it's supposed to be a hyphenation into that other word, and there's supposed to be the other word connected to it. Like CJ Gardner Johnson, how it has the dash there. You notice how that combines the words? That's how it looks like it's supposed to be when you do it. We're not getting into this right now.
There's not a space in between his first last name and his second last name. There's just a dash.
But it's not. That's what I'm saying. Never mind. Whatever.
I think it's a matter of preference.
Just Lance, you go in here.
So Wyatt Teller is a guard. I think that the Bills should sign a guard.
No spaces here.
Nice. Joey just owned you, bro.
That's not even how it's set up.
That's wild. Wild times on Triple Coverage Podcast here on the off-season editions. Wyatt Teller is a decent guard, although declined a little bit last year from his elite play. I think that you could say that it would be a nice addition to pair with the open spot that David Edwards leaves, and try to bring a guy that was originally drafted in Buffalo back and see what he can give you for a year or two to this offensive line. He's going to be really good in the run blocking game, and then we'll see what he can do in a pass protection. But I still think he's got plenty enough to offer for the Bills to bring him in.
Yeah. Do you want to say ours at the same time too?
You want to say this at the same time? What?
Yeah, ready? 1, 2, 3. DJ Reader.
Yeah, Scott got it. Nice job.
Yeah, my number one DJ Reader for a very similar reason as Sebastian just today. We need a nose tackle. He's a very good nose tackle. I would like to see him on my football team.
Yeah. Get another big boy in here. We need some big men on this football team. Veteran guy that's been in the league, knows how to play the game of football. So yeah, and I think he wouldn't break the bank when it comes to D tackles. So DJ Reader, he's been a guy that I feel like Bills fans in general have wanted back or wanted in Buffalo for a few years, ever since he's been a free agent every year. And maybe this year is the year. But yeah, he's going to be my number one as well. I'm right there with you, Eric, and I know some people wouldn't want it at all.
I would also mind one. So I agree with Eric. I would mind one, yes.
Oh wait, you would. I read it as wouldn't.
I think he meant wouldn't.
That's what I thought too.
I agree with him. I would mind.
No, if you can get him back cheap, I don't care but I don't think they will. I'm just saying that right now. I don't think it's even. I think there's a 0.0. I think somebody would have to hold a gun to Brandon Beane's head, I think, and say sign Stephon Diggs for him to come back here. So I don't think it's going to happen, but I would be able to do it.
Maybe he'll pay the Bills to bring him back in the pink powder stuff.
If he pays us, do we get cap space back?
So I don't. If he can get back with Cardi B and she does the opening stadium concert, then we could be cooking. But
nice.
I don't know if that's happening.
Eric, I know we're probably in the minority of Bills fans, but I'm with you, man. Don't worry, you're not alone. I'm with you. I'm with you on it.
I'd be intrigued. I wouldn't say no right away, but morally, I would say no. But football-wise, I'd be intrigued.
I'd love to see what the first video of Josh and Diggs back together again would look like, because it would just be hilarious. But
boats and hoes. Oh, I don't know. Yeah. I feel like that's what it would have to be. But
yeah. And Cooks, I saw Spin say it. I would be back open.
Yeah, I'd bring back Cooks for wide receiver 5, inexpensive.
Yeah. Let him avenge his dropped pass from last year, and maybe even make a game-winning catch when it matters in the next season. That'd be a great story. One that's
if you went into
Hallmark
Hollywood
worthy.
If you went into Hollywood with that story, they'd kick you out. They wouldn't believe it.
That's right. All right, folks, that is our show for this evening. We really appreciate all 500 plus folks watching at the moment, and come back next week. Although we will be down a man, Scott will be watching college basketball tournament, and I wish I was joining him, had the opportunity, but couldn't make it happen, and I'm saddened by that. But we will miss you next week, Scott. Send us a message if you need any good points to get across. We'll be happy to have a segment called Per Scott Casson, and then we'll Ben can read a list of your points, and it'll be just a very nice, easy going segment, I think. So
I'll send him that I'll send him that tight end that the Texans media guy liked.
Amazing.
You guys didn't see
What's
that?
the quote? We're not only tight ends. We're not only quarterbacks. We're also tight ends.
I don't know. I'll send you the video. It was very funny.
Amazing. Can't wait. All right, folks. This is the Triple Coverage Podcast here on the Built-In Buffalo Network. Gladly appreciate our partners again, Big 3 Inn, Wignuts Buffalo, Lancaster Indoor Bounce House, and 716 Barbershop. Until next week, go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.